I'm Candace, and welcome to I Am Not a Doctor, where I am not a medical professional. But I love sifting through the science so you don't have to. On this episode, we'll be getting a little salty, debunking some of the top myths around this mineral. We will also see why salt, just like saturated fat, is taking the fall for its evil twin sugar, and why your issues with salt may not be a salt issue at all. If you're already craving potato chips by now, I want you to stop this video, grab some salt, put it in some sparkling water, and meet me back here so we can explore these myths together. Whether you know it or not, you are actually a giant salt shaker. Salt is found in your blood and in all the fluid outside of your cells. It helps maintain your blood volume by retaining water. It assists with electrical impulses in the body that contract your muscles, and it helps with cognitive function. You wouldn't be able to survive without salt, and that's why I think it's so important that we break down some of the common misconceptions we have based on bad science. All right, so myth number 1, salt causes high blood pressure. Did you know that more than half of the people with high blood pressure aren't salt sensitive at all? Meaning that their blood pressure doesn't change with a low sodium diet. The ones that do respond have such a minimal decrease that we are chasing such a small change for a huge increase in new symptoms because of having low sodium. What happens when you lower your salt to lower your blood pressure is you actually have to increase your heart rate because you're lowering the blood volume. You need to have a higher blood volume so your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Having lower blood volume is the opposite of what you want when you're trying to take strain off of your heart. The reason these guidelines even became integrated into our health recommendations is based on the opinions of the 1977 Senate Select Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs, which also led us down the path to consuming more sugar, less saturated fat and cholesterol, which we know has been one of the worst recommendations for our health. Studies show that people who actually consume between 3,000 and 7,000 milligrams of sodium a day actually have the lowest rate of cardiovascular events, which is crazy if you consider the current recommendation of less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day. What actually causes high blood pressure is insulin resistance, which can also increase when you decrease salt. Chances are, if you are experiencing side effects of salt, such as swelling, it's because your body can't process salt properly due to the fact that you're insulin resistant. We need to be addressing the sugar and carb intake before we vilify the salt in our diet. Myth number 2. You should buy low sodium. Low sodium is a buzzword, just like fat-free, and similarly, most low sodium options have a much higher sugar content. We are trading a mineral essential for your health with one that you literally don't need at all. Your body is actually able to regulate the amount of sodium you consume inherently. Most humans, if left unattended, will take in around 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams of sodium a day. Your brain will tell you when you've had enough, which isn't the case when we look at things like sugar, which activate our dopamine, causing us to become addicted and act out of those addictive habits rather than our true need for it. If you ever find yourself wanting something sweet, try having a little bit of salt first and see if that actually helps your sugar craving. When you don't consume enough salt, your body will pull it from your bones. That is how necessary it is. But what happens is it won't just pull salt. It's also going to pull other minerals, which is why low sodium diets can also lead to things like osteoporosis. Low sodium diets can also lead to overeating. Your body is designed to seek salt. So when you buy low sodium potato chips, for example, your body thinks that it's getting salt, but it's not enough. So you're more likely to eat twice as much as if you had just gotten the full sodium chips to begin with. Myth number 3. All salt is created equal. White table salt is just sodium and chloride, bleached white, and many times has anti-caking agents added in like dextrose, which is just another form of sugar. This kind of salt is what you're eating in your highly processed foods. When we look at real non-bleached salt, there can be over 60 naturally occurring minerals in there, including iodine, which is essential for thyroid function. I currently use Redmond Real Salt as it's from an ancient salt bed and doesn't have the microplastics plastics that today's sea salt has in it, any choice you make other than that little bottle with the umbrella girl is going to be a better choice. I actually bring the little travel bottles of salt with me that Redmond makes to restaurants because the flavor is just so much better than regular table salt, and I know that I'm re-mineralizing my body at the same time. So you can see why salt is so important, but you may be thinking, I'm probably getting enough of it. Maybe, but maybe not. Sodium is depleted in our bodies by using caffeine and nicotine. If you have sleep apnea, you can lose over 3,000 milligrams of sodium a night. If you have hypothyroidism, celiac, IBS, or any intestinal issues, you also can't absorb salt well. For my keto friends, if you don't know this already, you lose salt faster than people on a standard diet. Your kidneys are going to flush salt faster because your insulin is lower. And you're also not going to absorb as much when you eat because you're taking in less glucose. The moral of this story is you shouldn't be afraid to add real salt to your food. Your body needs it. What you should be concerned about is sugar and how that's affecting everything from your blood pressure to your caloric intake. If you want more info on salt, I would highly recommend reading The Salt Fix by Dr. D. Nicolantonio. Let me know in the comments below if you're a believer in salt and what your favorite source is. Have you tried using salt as a pre-workout? Have you tried using salt before bed to lower your heart rate for better sleep? You can be your own experiment. You don't need to be afraid of your body and trying new things. If you like this video, please subscribe and let me know if there are any other topics you'd like to hear about. My goal is to help you thrive in a world that is set up to sell you the idea of health by people who still feel unhealthy. Remember, you are in control of your health. It just might take changing everything you thought you knew to get to where you want to be.